This is Shakir Ali for Unit of 36, Task 4, and this is your name.
Ian Crossan?
Okay, so first question. Have you heard or are you a part of the UCU union?
Yes. I'm the membership secretary for the union at Poplar Branch. Yeah, and I'm one of the officers. Yeah.
What profession do you currently teach, and do you enjoy teaching it?
Well, I teach a mixture of things. I teach English, GCSE English, functional skills English, and I do learning support connected with that. So some like small group support, one-to-one support. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, mostly I enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends partly how the students are, but yeah. When the lessons go well, it can be quite fun. Yeah.
Do you think that the government values the importance of teaching? If so or not, why?
It it proclaims it does. I mean, it's rhetoric. It says, of course, teachers are very important. Without teachers, education couldn't function. But I think in one way, of course, you could say in how we're valued is, well, how much pay do we get, and things like that. And that is one way you value people. And in that sense, I think we are very seriously undervalued for what we actually do and how we change people's lives.
Okay, do you believe that you're getting enough pay from the job you're currently doing?
No, especially not for the hours that we do. The courses have got more difficult. The GCSE English has got way more difficult than it was a few years ago. There's been massive cuts in support staff, so we've been asked to sort of chase up more things to do with attendance, punctuality. We didn't used to have to do that at all, really. Yeah, and I don't think we do. I think, our wages have gone down over 9 years, 24.5%. It's gone down. That's if you're on a top scale lecturer, you have lost £9,500 a year. So that's a lot of money. Like if you said to anyone, are you going to lose 25% of your wages? Yeah, and like I said, so that's happened. We've lost a lot of jobs in the college, so that means more pressure on the people who are left, and the courses have got more difficult. So all round, that means more pressure on us, and less reward.
Do you believe that the curriculum being taught to students are up to date?
I think, well, yeah, we try and make it relevant to what you're doing. We do try and do that. I personally think, especially with the GCSE English, I really don't like the new course. I really think we should have coursework. There's no coursework attached anymore. When we used to have coursework, the students were more motivated. I think when we used to do more literature, students, I think, enjoyed that more, and it meant less pressure. And the exam is 2 exams. It's harder, 19th century stuff. Yeah, I think it's... And forcing students to keep retaking the same exam, I think is, for most students, cruel and doesn't work. I think they should think of other ways they can motivate students.
There have been many strikes that have taken place around schools and colleges about the lack of pay teachers have been getting. What do you think about these strikes?
Well, I think it's obviously no teacher goes on strike easily. The main reason we're here is to teach you lot. So, that's our main job. But there comes a time where if you put your case and to either the local management or to the government, and the government aren't listening, well, what else can you do? Ultimately, striking is the last resort. But often it does get you sort of a bit more noticed by the government and in the media, and sometimes that's how we've got more money. So. It's not something people take lightly. Every time we go on strike, you lose a lot of money. I lose per day. It was about 100 and actually take home pay about £130 a day. So I've lost about over 5 days. What's that? 600 and what's that? £650. I mean that's take home. If it was actually gross, it'd be more. So. That's a lot of money to sacrifice, really, but,
Recently, a college called New City College has offered to increase the pay of the teachers by 1%. Do you think that is enough?
Absolutely not, no, because inflation is 3.6%, so anything below that is a pay cut, another pay cut. We've had 9 years of pay cuts, so that's the reason why we kind of said no, and that's why we started a campaign to say we want more. And the college has got a lot of money. The college actually has got 9.2 million in reserves, So when they said that the college can't afford to give us more than 1%, we said that's rubbish. It would cost 2.2 million to pay everyone the 6.6% that we were actually asking for. So, you know, it's affordable.
That's quite a lot of money that the college has.
Yeah, but they didn't want to spend it on us. You know, that was the argument. You know, and then we were forced to sort of take, in the end, 5 days of strike action, which is quite a lot to take in one quite short period. But in the end, we have made progress because we've got a £400 one-off payment. We've got £400 for if you're full-time, another £400 on top, which means, you know, some people are going to get an extra £800, which is worth about an extra 2%. So some people have got like a 3% pay rise. So that is a lot more than 1%. It's not brilliant, but it's a bit of progress. And some people are on hourly pay contracts where, again, they don't get paid sick pay, they don't get paid holiday pay. Some of them are now being put on, even if you've been teaching 10 years, they were put on a low spine point, so they might be on, say, £20 an hour, and now some of them are going to be put up to maybe £30 an hour because that's what they should really be on. So again, management have only did that because of the pressure that we put them under. So, but they only applied to teaching staff, by the way, not support staff, which again we didn't think was fair because we think the support staff should get, you know, say a 3% pay increase as well.
Do you think that these strikes that are being organised will make the government listen and try to help more with education?
Well, the strikes have been quite localised in further education so far. There's been about 14 colleges, mostly in London and a couple of outside of London. But where they've happened, I mean, the principals definitely felt under pressure. I think there's now going to be a national campaign, and there will be a national ballot for strike action next term. And I think it's not going away because people are fed up. Basically, you can't keep demanding teachers work harder and harder. We've got to produce these amazing results, and then, you know, keep paying us less. The rest of, you know, everything else is going up. You know, transport's going up, rent's going up. You know, and we think, you know, the government should, you know, if it says like it says, if it really values education or health or whatever it is, they should start paying us more money. You know.
The recent strike that happened was during vital exams season, which the government has stated was disrupting a student study. Do you agree or disagree with this? If so, why?
Well, it wasn't an easy time. You know, obviously it was in the run-up to exams. I mean, some colleges took strike action actually on GCSE English and Maths exams day, which was a very big thing to do. We didn't do that at our college. We didn't quite get to that stage. Yes, of course, yeah, it's not easy, and I can assure you that all the teachers here, when we had our meetings about what we were going to do, we discussed the impact it might have on you, but in the long term, you know, we have to think, well, if we don't do this, if you don't pay the teachers enough, one, you get demoralised, two, you don't feel valued. Some people leave further education and go into secondary schools because you can earn a lot more money there, or they just go into other jobs. You know, that's ultimately what will happen. Yeah.
If you had the power to change the education system, what exactly would you change?
Oh, that's a good question.
So, for example, would you change the management? Would you change...
I think giving teachers more chance to actually plan the kind of curriculum that they would want to do. I think giving us, the ordinary teachers, more power. You just don't feel you've got any power in terms of real power, in terms of the syllabus you teach, how you teach it, the size of your classes, that kind of thing. And giving people, I think the other thing maybe is giving people fewer, you know, like less contact hours, so you've got more time to think, create lessons, mark in, and all that kind of thing. Because workload is another major thing that really affects teachers, you know, and I know the more time, generally, the more time I have, generally the better I am as a teacher, especially if you're teaching something new. You've got to develop a new unit, that takes time, you know, and if it's time is our biggest enemy, because we're getting asked to do more and more and more. Thank
you for this chance of being interviewed. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I hope I've helped you pass your course. Good questions, you know.